All right. Welcome down, everyone, to another episode of Those Nerds You Know.
I'm Ethan.
Nope. I'm Ethan.
I'm Eddie.
And we are Those Nerds You Know. Welcome down. Thank you for coming back. And today, this week, right now, in this moment, we're going to talk to you about the 7 deadly sins.
Oh, my God. Not
the concept, the anime. Which has much of the concepts in it.
Yeah.
But yes, we're talking about the lovely anime
Somehow.
based off of a manga.
Some of them, but I'm like, okay.
Yeah, true. Yeah. We're talking about the lovely anime called The 7 Deadly Sins based off of a manga from Kodansha, or published by Kodansha. When did it come out? Like 2016 was the first
2015.
season? 2015. Wow.
Yeah. I think it was middle of it, but yeah. The only reason I watched it is because I saw that there was season 2 coming out this year. So I was like,
right.
I'll go watch season 1 then.
Get ready for it.
And I did, and it was really good. And I was like, I'm looking forward to season 2, which I just found.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, spoiler alerts, I like this one. I really like this anime a lot, and I think part of it was sort of how you said, like you hadn't given it much thought, and then you went and watched it. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I was. Like, I think maybe a person had suggested it to me. They're like, this is pretty good. And so I went with this, like, kind of feeling like, meh. And I also heard weird stuff about, like, the groping and fan service that's in it.
Yeah. I saw, when you told me that you had watched it before, I was like, oh.
Yeah. I'd heard strange things, and I was just like, meh. But then one day I just didn't have anything to watch. So I watched the first episode, and I was like, that's all right. I'll watch the second episode. And it just, by that time, it got me. I was just like, man, this is pretty freaking cool. So yeah, I think my low expectations really helped me. Again, just that's a similar thing, a similar way I felt to.
That was loud.
That was super loud. Expectations do a lot for me in a show or in a thing. Like, if someone's like, you'll definitely love this thing, I'll usually be like, probably not then, if you tell me this.
Oh yes, I've experienced this multiple times.
And like, that's how I was with Marvel movie that everybody loved, Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. It was like, it's the best Marvel movie ever, and I was like, no, it's not. I can't. It's not possible. And when I went in to see it in theaters, I was like, yeah, it's not. Definitely not. I enjoyed it. It was fine, but it definitely wasn't the best Marvel movie ever. And then it wasn't until like months later when I was watching it on DVD with someone who hadn't seen it yet, and I was like, this is a pretty good film. Mm-hmm. So now I love it, and it's great. It's really good.
And on the opposite end, something could be like very bad, and you're like, it was great. Shut up. So many things, Ethan.
So many things that I think are great?
Yes.
Wow, like what?
Like the Assassin's Creed movie.
The movie was so good.
See?
I enjoyed it.
There's another one that actually upset me. I can't remember what
I'm sure it's
though.
in the podcast. That specific one was.
And you won't watch Dark because it's in another language.
Yeah, I just don't feel like it. But I explained
Dark
that.
Was
like,
good.
I'm sure it was. I just don't care. I don't care enough.
The reason he gave is because it was in a foreign language.
Because I've also had bad experiences with other European movies.
Anime. Well, it's not European.
No, like Day Watch or Night Watch, whichever one of the ones I watched.
European movies you've seen.
Look, yes, they were definitely mad. One I couldn't finish, and the other one was fine. But then I watched the American version, and I was like, "That's okay too." I don't see. There's no purpose in me watching the original.
I can't think of what was it. It was you and David really, really liked it, and everybody else was like,
"Was it an anime?"
No, I think it was a movie.
It's a movie.
Might have been Dracula.
I love Dracula Untold. Yeah.
I think Dracula Untold was it.
That was it. But there's a lot of things that are probably like that for us. Me and him both like The Dark Tower, and a lot of people crap on that movie. Me and him both like the Power Rangers movie, and that wasn't really well accepted, except amongst, I guess, fans really of the Power Rangers series. Yeah.
So, like I said, on the opposite side of the spectrum, Ethan's on both sides.
Like, I'm gonna like what I like. I don't need you telling me what to like. And but I mean, there are other things that like I eventually will watch
when you have nothing else to watch.
Yeah, that or just like,
it's like
whenever the hype has died down.
Gigantic list of recommendations.
Oh, there's a huge list. So when the hype kind of dies down a bit, like I didn't watch Stranger Things until like several months after it had been big, and everybody was like, "You should watch it," and I was just like, "Yeah, I guess I'll watch this now."
And then you turned into one of those people.
Oh yeah, it totally was.
Michael.
Stranger Things was great.
What kind of person are you?
It's crazy that he hadn't seen it. Look, it's crazy that at this point that 2 seasons have come out if you haven't seen any of it at all. Like it's weird if you have a Netflix account and just haven't watched at least an episode of Stranger Things. Fair. Like,
so at least like check out the first episode.
Right.
I heard Travelers is good too, so I might watch that soon.
I have not heard of that.
I don't know what it is, but I saw it on Reddit.
Just I really need to get into Altered Carbon.
Yeah, I've heard that name too.
I've heard it's good. I've heard it's gory but still good.
Yeah,
and the freaking Shannara Chronicles dropped finally, the new episodes of that, and I was like, yeah! Like my Netflix list has gotten so big now, so I'm down for that. I still have to finish the new Troll Hunter series. So many things.
Lots of stuff.
Goodness gracious.
More stuff on the horizon.
Yeah.
Like Westworld.
Truth.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. And
I guess. Haven't watched any of it.
Of course you haven't.
You've seen it. You know why I don't watch it.
What?
There's a lot of sex in that, right?
I don't think there's any sex in it at all, actually.
Really? I might watch it then.
I mean, there might be like a nude scene or something.
I'm pretty sure there's graphic stuff in it.
Because they have to make the robots and stuff.
Right.
But and they show parts.
Well, I mean, like construction of a robot is different from a sex scene, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember any sex scenes, honestly.
Awesome sauce.
So.
Cool.
I mean, don't quote me on it.
I will quote you on it. When I find them, I will screen capture them and send them to you.
Okay, sounds good to me. nothing more like than seeing that.
Yeah. Anyway, we got on this tangent just based off stuff. Anyway, this wasn't didn't come super highly recommended to me, so I just watched it and it was good. I enjoyed it a lot.
It was very good.
Of course, there's fan service and groping in it that I don't really like.
Yeah, because Japan loves
and don't support.
Pervertedness.
Yeah,
it's funny.
It's super groping, very strange.
Unconsented,
but
flip skirts.
So much of it is so good.
Yeah, and it only happens like maybe the first 3 episodes, and then it kind of like
it kind of dies
off.
Down, yeah,
because
just the way things
Hawk
go.
Denies.
That's that's very true.
And, like, he stops doing it. Like, he's tied up in bed with Elizabeth.
Yeah. Let's talk about what the show is about.
Okay.
What's the general scope of it, Eddie?
Well, back in the time of Britannia, which is the country they live in, or the world. I don't know if it's the country or the world. Anyway, humans and monsters lived together, or something like that. That's what the preface says.
It was before the preface. Yes. It was the first time you ever heard that word said out loud.
It's funny because I said that. Yes. I say it like that a lot, and when I had recently found out it was prefaced too, and I thought that joke was hilarious.
Yes, it's so good. Gary Goldman, everyone.
Gary Goldman. And
it was before the human and monster world had split. I think is what it says.
And there's different clans. There's like the human clan, the fairy clan, the demon clan, etc.
etc.
Yeah.
There's a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Is there?
It's in the opening.
Oh, okay.
And like there's this because they just like sprawl across these still illustrations of fighters and knights and monsters and demons, and one of them's just a T-Rex with like horns. And I'm like, wow.
I don't remember saying that. But
yep.
Basically, it's kind of medievally, and
it's like medieval Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Or One Piece even.
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah.
And basically, you have this group of people who are very strong,
holy knights
of different clans themselves.
And
And
that's true. The group of people being the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's
right. Yeah. So like there are these things called holy knights, which are the people that are employed to defend the kingdoms. Right. And they're the military, and most of the holy knights eventually develop powers, and most of them, I guess, are born with somewhat of a magical ability, and they develop them as they're trained. And like the best of the best, and before the show, like in the time before the show was set, the best of the best were these 7 deadly sins, these knights, Holy Knights, and I think maybe one of them was human. Maybe Bon, I think, was human before his weird stuff happened to him. And we haven't met the seventh one yet in the first season, unless you have.
Not yet. Cool. He's like, there's been glimpses for some reason,
right?
But not like.
I also really like. I love anime whose openings change as the stories develop.
Yeah, this is JoJo does that. JoJo does that all the time.
That's
it's
cool.
Like, at one point, like in like season 4, or not season 4, season 3 maybe.
Sure.
Like
you could have said forward.
The whole Anyway, we'll do a podcast.
That's true. That is accurate. Yes, we should do that.
But like there's a character in JoJo that stops time. His name is Dio. He's like the main bad guy, actually.
Gotcha.
And at one point during the last, like near the final confrontation, like he appears in the opening and like stops it. It's so good. Like
that's
people
cool.
freak out whenever they
That's fun. No.
I freaked out when I saw it. Like, that's so cool.
That is really cool. There's an anime that The Devils of Heart Timer does that. Mm-hmm. As new people are introduced, they walk across the screen with the whole group.
Yeah.
And this one, it changes as Seven Deadly Sins are introduced. So, like, in the beginning, you see the Seven Deadly... When it talks about the Seven Deadly Sins in the opening, it's these 7 holy knights all standing on, like, a plateau, and they're all in full armor.
Yeah.
And as they get revealed, they remove the armor, because at this point, they don't have armor in the story. They remove the armor, and you just see them standing there. And so, still, by the end of the first season, you've got 6 people standing there, and then 1 person in armor you can't see.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I guess. But you should know if you're listening to this, we spoil whatever it is we're talking about. So there's no spoiler-free... section of this,
Gomen.
And so we open up at a point where a whole bunch of crazy stuff has happened in the past, and we don't know everything just yet. And that's something I love discovering the backstory to this as we go. The 7 Deadly Sins are in exile, and there's a princess who's searching for the 7 Deadly Sins to bring them back to help her defend the kingdom from the Holy Knights, because she believes the Holy Knights have gone evil and turned bad.
And they've done bad things to
truth.
Cities or surrounding villages and stuff. They're basically the world government from One Piece, like the Navy.
Cool, gotcha. I remember brief glimpses of the Navy from my brief time.
Marines, not Navy. The Marines,
sure.
Yeah, but I mean, no, you see that in like the first episode.
Yeah,
the Marines are bad people.
Yeah,
even though they're supposed to be the good guys.
Yeah. Definitely.
But yeah.
That is most certainly where we are with the Holy Knights. Yeah. Gosh, it's cool. It's I mentioned this to you. One of my favorite things about this anime is the payoff in the last 6 episodes of so many of the Holy Knights realizing what's going on and that they're not on the right side and turning sides, and that it's so cool. So anyway, yes, the first season primarily revolves around Elizabeth searching for the seven deadly sins, reuniting them and bringing them to save the kingdom.
And her father and stuff.
Indeed. So yeah. Whew. Let's go through the 7 deadly sins. Let's talk about it. We mentioned how Bon, we think, was human. I'm pretty sure he was human before.
He was human.
He what did he drank from the fountain of youth or some nonsense?
Something like that. It was the lake of immortality.
Right, gotcha.
Whatever.
And now he just can't die. Bon. So I'm gonna use the word favorite a lot in this because I love this anime so much. Bon's one of my favorite. Gosh, he's so cool. I love him so much. He's so fun.
I don't know who my favorite is. I want to say that Gother is my favorite.
My gosh, he's so hilarious.
But he does something in season 2, like at the beginning, and I was like, that ruins it for me.
Aww.
I'll explain later once we get into it. But
that's sad.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. But there's Bon, who's human.
Bon's super cool.
Meliodas, who is pretty much the main character.
Yeah, Meliodas is the main character, and one thing I really like about this is that it's not one of those anime that's obsessed with their main character.
Yeah,
Plenty of other characters have so much good depth and background, and we get to spend so much time learning about them. I love it so much. I love learning about, I think my favorite story in this is King's story. With his background being the king of the fairies and everything that goes on with him and his best friend Helbram. So sad, so teary-eyed all the time thinking about that. I love it so much. Yeah. King is really cool.
His real name is Harlequin.
Yes, Harlequin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and his relationship with Diane that she doesn't entirely remember, or Deanne if you want. Like everyone in there says Deanne, but her name is spelled Diane. But they're all Japanese, so we both watched the sub. I assume. Yeah, I didn't watch the dub at all.
I watched the dub. But, you know, thinking back on Meliodas and the sub, actually, you've seen some of My Hero Academia in anime form?
Yes.
Okay. Have you heard?
Does he voice someone? Who's he voice?
This is the
what you're trying to think of.
You know the half and half kid, the
Toroki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He voices him.
That's super cool.
And I know, right? It's like when I heard that, I was like, no way.
That's sweet. I like Meliodas' voice a lot.
So different.
Yeah.
Like at one point, Meliodas like screams, and I'm like, I heard it now. But yeah, that shocked me. I was like, they are so different vocally.
That's cool.
It's ridiculous. And I think Hawk. It might be Hawk. Hawk. It might be Hawk, or it might be someone else. But oh wait, no, I'm connecting something else that I found out. It was really weird for me because Overlord. I watched Overlord.
Gotcha.
Because that was given in season 2
I hear
as
it's
well.
good. Yeah,
it's pretty good. There's a really crazy character in Overlord,
gotcha.
Like one of the evil people, and Su Chang voices this person, the frog girl.
Oh, gotcha.
And she voices this crazy girl, and it's so different. I'm like, these people are so talented. It's crazy.
That's not
because I'm usually good at picking up voices, even in Japanese. Because I'm
not.
I'm
I've only recently gotten to the point where I can notice it in English voices. Like a couple. Like I was so proud of myself when I realized that the guy that voices Urushihara from The Devil's a Part-Timer also voices Izaya in Durarara, which is so cool to me. So cool. I love both of those characters so much. Yeah, I can't fathom doing that in Japanese.
It just shocked me when I saw it was Todoroki. I'm like, Jesus Christ,
that's
these
cool.
people are so talented.
Yeah, Hawk is so fun. I love how she it's a he.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a she so much.
And it has eyelashes, which are like the universal gender orientation of females.
But I love the way he talks when he's running.
Yeah.
The noise makes. Super funny.
And then speaking of Hawk, like one of the things I really like about this anime is that it kind of destroys stereotypes of anime. Like whenever, like Hawk is useful. Like
Indeed.
He's not just an animal sidekick. He actually provides story content.
Yeah, he does.
Elizabeth isn't completely helpless.
Correct.
Which is also another great thing.
Very cool. She's
she becomes one of the more saving graces of their team.
Most certainly so.
Which is ridiculous to me. I was like, what? And her and Diane develop a relationship really quickly, as opposed to being the jealous girl of the group.
Right.
There's a love triangle.
Truth. That is good. That is really cool.
Ridiculous.
Something I love about this anime is all of the tiny things that happen in it that you don't notice until the end.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I picked up when Elizabeth started like healing people.
I picked up on it probably a couple times in. I think I didn't pick up on it until because she heals Meliodas. I think is one of the first things you notice. Yeah. I didn't pick up on it until I think it was a doctor guy.
Yeah.
A human.
That's when I picked up.
And I was like,
there's no way he would have survived.
What's the difference here? Yeah.
And I saw the scene where she cried and it showed her tears dropping.
She's Rapunzel, and I was like, "Whoo!"
Yeah, I've seen that in American things.
yeah, that's what she is. And it's cool because there's a lot. I mean, it's not the most revolutionary thing in the world. There's plenty of stories with it. Even I doubt you've read or seen Vampire Academy. Don't judge me. I've read and seen it. Like I was big into teen fiction, vampire stuff when that was big. Don't worry about it. But the two main characters in that, like the main character is a chick who's like there's a race of people that are basically sworn guardians to these royal vampires, and she's basically a sworn guardian to her friend who's a royal vampire, and they're still in their high school age and stuff. And the whole thing revolves around, spoiler alert if you don't want to know this, the whole thing revolves around the fact that her royal friend who hasn't selected a magic that she wants to specialize in yet, which is something that the royals have to do, is special in that she can heal. So like she has essentially the same power as Rapunzel and Elizabeth.
That's amazing.
And she has this ability to heal people, and that's the whole thing. And her crazy, sadistic uncle who's dying of vampire cancer does this elaborate plot to get her to eventually kidnap her and use her power to keep him alive. Dead, so. Yes, to keep him alive. Anywho, so yeah, it wasn't anything new, but it was really cool to see.
Yeah. So we were on Meliodas.
Right.
The next one we
as
see
far as we've gotten
is Bond. Bond comes in next.
Mm-hmm. Well, Meliodas, we didn't really talk much about him.
That's true.
He's the source of the groping and all that nonsense. Yeah. But like other than that,
because Elizabeth favors his dead sweetheart.
Right. Truth. And, yes, that is accurate, which we learn later.
He's attracted to her.
Yeah, and he's like, we're led to believe, I guess, more or less that he's human. Eventually, in the beginning, really, everyone we seem to see we think is human. Mm-hmm. We learn that Bond was human and becomes immortal, but we learn Meliodas is, by the end of it, we learn that he's essentially a demon, if not a half demon, or possessed by a demon.
Yeah, he's got some weird power that dignifies him as not human.
Yeah, and he's the sin of. Okay, let's talk about what sins they are. So he's the sin of wrath, in that like when he loses his mind, the demon usually takes over, Naruto style, and he just becomes kind of a Hulk and just decimates things. Yeah. Like he's known for having decimated a whole city.
Blank eyes. Yeah.
Goes nuts.
The thing goes over his face.
Yes, like he gets all these little tattoo things. Yes, like Naruto or like Sasuke.
Sasuke, rather.
Yeah. Yeah, he gives, but when he's not in that mode, he gives off a lot of. I feel like he gives off a lot of like One Punch Man vibes, and that he's very chill,
silly.
Yes, silly, and he's real goofy, and like everyone around him is real serious about stuff a lot of the time, and he's just kind of like, it's all right, it's fine. Yeah. And while at the same time being able to dispatch basically anyone he comes across. He's really cool. One of my favorite moments early on is I think it's Gil Thunder that throws a spear just like miles from the castle at him, and he just grabs it and throws it back. It was so good.
That was like the first episode or the second episode. Yeah. See the first and second. I think it's the first because that's what captured me. I was like,
that was cool. When I saw it, I was like, holy crap! And for some good fighting, and the fighting. This is so good. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's Meliodas, the dragon. They all have an animal. And then they're assigned one of the 7 deadly sins. So he's the dragon sin of wrath. And Homeboy is the fox sin of greed? Is that who he is?
I don't think he's greed.
Who is he? Let's see if we can name them from memory.
Yeah. It's racking my brain.
Who's Sloth? King is Sloth.
King is Sloth. Yeah.
Who's
Diane is I don't know. I did not pay any attention to their like attributes because they don't act like them. Well, Gother is lust. I know Gother's lust.
Okay.
I don't know his animal. It might be snake. I think King's a sloth because it's sloth. I don't think it's a sloth. It might be a turtle. I don't know.
It's fine. We're going to figure it out. Google will help us out. I know Merlin is the boar.
Yeah.
Merlin's another... Anime seems to have fun with gender bending.
Oh my god, they do.
Classical characters.
Looking at you,
Fate Stay Night, yeah.
Who put Frankenstein's monster as a Lolita girl.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that one. Which one's that in?
That's the latest one. The one, Redemption.
The latest good one. Yeah. Not Apocrypha.
No. Apocrypha. That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I said Redemption, but no, that's the one. Frankenstein's monster is a Lolita girl, a tiny Lolita girl.
Here we go. All right, I'm gonna hand it down to the little graphic. All right, so Diane.
He is the fox of greed, right?
Yeah, Bond is the sin of greed.
Diane's the
envy.
Snake of envy.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Okay, Snake of envy. King is sloth. Is it a bear? Sloth bear? Yeah, I think he's a bear, right?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, yeah. Gother is he a ram?
Yeah, the ram of
lust. And Merlin is gluttony, and then Escanor, whatever his name is.
Escanor.
I've seen him before. It's pride.
And it's a lion.
And it's a lion.
Wow.
You know, fun junk. Anyways, yeah. King, as we mentioned before, is a fairy. He's often in human form, though. Like, you don't see his wings. Mm-hmm. If he even still has wings. I think he does.
I don't think he floats around on his pillow. So
yes, yeah, which is his sacred treasure. Mm-hmm. He's like the first one we meet that still has his sacred treasure. Yeah. That's another thing I really enjoy about this show is I think power creep is often a problem, but in this one, the power creep is kind of more or less explained by the fact that they don't have these treasures.
Well, let me just tell you about season 2.
Does it get nuts?
It assigns arbitrary numbers to them.
Oh, of course it does. Gosh.
It does the Dragon Ball Z thing.
They all do that, though. Everything does that at some point.
But not recently. Not as explicit. I guess, it's like, Meliodas has 3,800 power level. I'm like,
that's real weird.
We're not doing this.
That's dumb.
And they never addressed power level numbers in the first season. Why they suddenly jumped to it on the second season. That agitated the crap out of me.
I wonder if they do it in the manga or not.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Because like it's not. I don't know. It kind of fits because it's so explicit. Like even Hawk gets like an earring that he can see.
Gotcha.
Stats.
There you go. That's what it's for.
And that's all right, I guess. And that
so that's so that you can break that later.
Yeah. And it's like, Meliodas is 3,800 at the time, right now, and this demon that just appeared is 28,000.
Wow.
Good luck.
Pretty good.
So it's like, it's. I hate arbitrary numbers so much.
Right.
Because it's like it establishes the difference. Mm-hmm. And we can clearly see the difference between the numbers, but you don't have to do it that way.
Right.
You can do it another way.
And I feel like they did a pretty effective job of doing that in the first season when they met up with some really bad guys.
Exactly. And that was great.
It was. But I mean, like, eventually, that in and of itself, though, is also a trope. Because the way they do it really is by, they get there's this new guy, and they're like, oh, who's this? And they throw a really powerful good guy at him, and then he just gets squashed.
Yeah.
And that's how you then see that this bad guy is bad and strong because he just obliterated half of Bond, and you're like, oh, nuts.
And I prefer that over arbitrary numbers.
I agree,
assigning them,
but that can also get boring, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they wanted to break away from that because Dragon Ball Z is not the only thing that has done that.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, they made a meme out of it. It's like over 9,000.
Yes, right.
Like that's where that.
And so I wonder if they're just calling back to that. I don't know. Yu Yu Hakusho did that. Like in their final season, they didn't make a big deal of it. But like in Yu Yu Hakusho, in the demon world, there's a lot of technology, and someone has come up with the technology to be able to read that. Mm-hmm. And like it's funny because it gives you numbers of some of the main characters, and then like there's a moment where Kurama, you know nothing of Yu Yu Hakusho.
I mean, I know Urameshi.
Gotcha. Yep.
I know Kurabara. And that's probably all I know, honestly.
Okay, so this is Kurabara, that's Urameshi. This is Hiei, that's Kurama. Right.
Yeah. And I know she's a witch. She flies on a broom.
She's a Shinigami.
Oh.
And she flies on an oar.
I mean, okay. it's a long stick with a flat end.
Yeah, no, she's the Shinigami that ferries Yusuke to the other life and breaks the news to him that they had no idea that he was going to die. So they don't know where he's going to go yet, which is hilarious to me.
And my knowledge goes up to like the tournament that they had with
the Dark Tournament.
And there was a white tiger that there's lots of things of named Byakko.
No, so you're talking about the Four Saint Beasts.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was so lost for a second. Yeah, the Four Saint Beasts is the first more or less tournament that does happen, yes. Mm-hmm. Loose structure tournament. Actually, it's like the second, because the first one is the one at King Kai's place. Anyway, there's a moment where, in the final season, where Kurama, who has a fox demon inside of him, he unleashes the fox demon for a moment, kills someone, and then like that person was holding one of these readers, and it just falls to the ground, and you see the number as the highest in existence thus far that we've seen, and that's really the last you hear of the numbers. Yeah. that was it. But yeah, I mean, it could just be a callback to that. But anyway, we're talking about a season that I haven't even seen.
Yeah.
Whoa.
No, it's absurd. Like, it's absurd.
Yeah, but like, so in this, when you first see them, a lot of these holy knights and a lot of these Seven Deadly Sins are really powerful, but they also take a second to explain, we don't have our sacred treasures right now. So as soon as we get those, we'll be super good. Which is cool. I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
Cool. That gives you more time to explain stuff, more time to go find cool things.
And more power tree that you can access later.
Indeed. Accurate. But yeah, King is the first one we see who has his. He's a fairy king. He has various forms.
He has
a big chubby guy,
yeah,
which
he
is
has two forms. I think
supposedly, I guess, his actual
human.
form? I don't know. Then he has his like fairy form where he's thin, which I prefer. And
yeah, it's much more.
No, that's the problem with being big. He just also looks stupid when he's big.
He's got the big lip thing.
Yeah, he's got his weird look.
The weird eyes.
Yeah,
it's weird.
But yeah, he looks
more personable in his smaller form.
Indeed. And he floats around, and his sacred treasure is the pillow that we mentioned, and it can take a whole bunch of different forms, including a dog,
a spear,
or a bunch of knives, or a giant sunflower.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. So then we have Diane, or Diane, who is a giant.
Yes.
Which is apparently another race. Also one that outlives humans pretty well. Fairies live for a very long time. Giants apparently live for a very long time. I imagine demons would too. Mm-hmm. At this point in the story, demons have been sealed away.
Yeah, they did something really bad like 3,000 years ago.
Right on.
They were sealed because of their hubris.
Indeed.
And 3,000 years later.
Here we are. And so Diane's a giant. We eventually meet Gother, the sin of, we just saw it, lust.
The Ram of Lust.
Ram, sin of lust, who is...
nonchalant about everything. He's basically Android 17 from Dragon Ball.
Yeah. He's very out of touch, I think, with emotion. Mm-hmm. Kind of.
Yeah, no, he totally is.
Yeah, he's very logical, and he speaks very logically.
He understands the emotions. He just doesn't display the emotions.
Correct. Yeah, and he
talks in monotone all the
time. Yeah, he's very plain, and he appears from what I can tell, watching him, to be like a psychic.
Yeah. Well, he can fondle memories. Like, he can
mess them up, and he can send messages to people's heads. Mm-hmm. He can do very interesting things.
He can insert dreams.
And
knock people out.
Yeah, so he's not a mage, because Merlin's the mage. He's like the Vision.
I don't know very much about the Vision, unfortunately.
Well, whatever you've seen the Vision in Marvel, that's pretty much where he's at. He's very logically thinking, and his powers are kind of mental, or I guess maybe more. Another character you wouldn't know would be the Martian Manhunter. Anyways, very intellectual, that sort. He's really cool. A fun time. And Merlin is the last one we meet in the first season. She is a wizard. Mm. It's fun mage stuff. It's great.
Very busty wizard.
Indeed.
She's very sexy.
Another trope of like a character that shows up all cloaked and hooded, looking scary, and then they throw off their hood, and it's just this big busty lady. It's just like, this is Blue Exorcist, yes. So,
and she appears like.
And other examples. Yeah, she appears basically literally at the end, and she kind of only does what she feels like doing. She doesn't really fight.
Yeah.
At all.
She's taken a main role in the second season.
Fine.
Now.
That's good.
So.
Good to hear. Well, because I mean, like that the second season, aren't they going to help Arthur? Is that what they're doing?
No, the demon clan gets unsealed.
Oh, cool.
So they're like, we gotta go fix this.
That makes sense. Cool. So, anyways, those are all the sets.
Okay, the seventh one we don't know about yet.
You're right, correct. Escanar.
Escanar, we have
not
nothing.
met.
You just know he's super strong. Well, I know he's super strong because
numbers.
I saw the numbers.
There you go.
The arbitrary numbers. He's super strong. Like stronger than everyone else. Even Meliodas.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
That's cool. I figured something like that would show up. And you're like, Meliodas can't be the top dog forever. I mean, Meliodas wasn't even really necessarily stronger than the main bad guy they fought in season 1. Mm-hmm. They just kind of outsmarted them, which I appreciate. Anywho, we go through this, and it's essentially just a whole bunch of Elizabeth wanting to find the 7 deadly sins, Meliodas kind of just nonchalantly, chillaxly doing that, and slowly gathering everybody else, and not showing any concern really whatsoever. Meanwhile, the main kingdom is just throwing holy knight after holy knight at these people, trying to kill them. Because they're like, oh no, the 7 deadly sins, they're the only people that they're... So like, the holy knights are attempting to bring on a holy war. Like, they're preparing for a holy war. The king had a vision that there would be a holy war and that it might be avoidable, but the holy knights seem to be taking on this stance of it's unavoidable and we should just go ahead and get it started so we can finish it, which is a strange stance to have.
I mean,
but
that's
I
how
mean,
the Crusades happen.
And you're a warrior, so I guess you need some job security, so start a war, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think they might feel that their war is with the 7 deadly sins. Some of them do.
Yeah.
One of them definitely knows what's going on because he's the main bad guy and he's been instigating this from the start. But essentially, the name of the game is kill the 7 deadly sins. But up until this point, they only know where one of them is, and they assume he's dead. They know where they think they killed King. Mm-hmm. And they have Bon in a dungeon. And I love that because Bon's just been hanging out.
Yeah,
he's just
he could have gotten out.
Yeah, I love him so much. I really like the relationships that a lot of the 7 deadly sins develop with the Holy Knights. Because there's a lot of them that they do battle with and they fight with, and they're like, you're doing all right. I'm sure you're not a bad guy. Just relax, champ. And then later on, we see that sort of come into play. They're just like with Gil Thunder and what's her name? Not Jericho, but the other girl, the one that does like bombs and stuff.
Oh, I don't know.
I just saw her name written. Like I've been watching episodes today. What is it?
Setsun? No, it's not Setsun.
Anyway, the one who has a younger brother named Zeal.
Yeah.
She's one of the first Holy Knights we really get to see in action, and like I think she fights Meliodas, and I think like from
the land of the dead.
Yes, and like for a moment you feel like, oh man, she's pretty tough, and then you're like, oh look, Meliodas just cannot die. Like he's just nonsense. Oh, but yeah, so at this moment we've got a bunch of Holy Knights, and there's a Grand Master Holy Knight, Dreyfus, and he's got like a couple of like his 2 right-hand men are Helbram and Hendrickson. Mm-hmm. And they all kind of have their own little order of knights. Gila is her name. That is right. Guila, right? Yeah.
Gila.
Yes. And so like Hendrickson has his own little order of knights, and from his order of knights we're starting to see the new generation, quote unquote, of Holy Knights. Whereas previously Holy Knights trained for like their whole lives to be able to become good and use their magical powers and all this nonsense and develop power. Hendrickson, a lot of knights from Hendrickson's group are just suddenly manifesting power, and everyone's kind of weirded out by it.
What's going on?
Yeah, but they're not like investigating it too heavily. They're just kind of like, I guess this is cool.
Yay, new generation.
Yeah, woo.
Those millennials.
And that ends up turning badly towards the end, as it would. Spoiler alert, Hendrickson's the real bad guy. He's... And I still don't know, from watching it, if it was really him or if he somehow got possessed by a demon early on to do what he was doing. I feel like that might have been what it was. Because he talks about how he was born like a druid. He worshipped nature, and he was very calm and was very at one, I guess, with nature and all this nonsense. And like how when he first saw Meliodas is when he realized, he was like, holy crap, Meliodas is a demon. And he was afraid of him, and also like intrigued by him. Yeah, and I guess he might have started experimenting with demons, and that's where he went wrong. Super wrong.
Do you want me to tell you?
You might know more.
I do.
Please.
What's his name? Not Dreyfus. Hendrickson. There we go.
Yeah.
He
Hendrickson
was possessed.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I figured.
And now Dreyfus is possessed because he unlocked the seal.
Oh.
And or at least he's leading the new demons. And
gotcha.
Now Hendrickson is like, I have to save Dreyfus. So.
Oh, Hendrickson's not dead.
Yeah.
Hendrickson's
not dead.
No one dies in this.
No one dies. Ever.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Just so you know, there are a lot of deaths in this. Don't worry. They're all fine.
No one dies.
No one dies.
No, but that's established in life. It's only on episode 4 right now.
Is Dragon Ball Z.
It's on episode 4 right now, so all of this has happened in the first few episodes of season 2.
That's cool. I'm alright with that. I mean, I will eventually watch it. I assume it will drop on Netflix once it's finished airing in Japan. That's how a lot of their original series go. That's what I had to do for Kuromakuro. I just had to wait. I don't know if would it be on Crunchyroll and Netflix?
I have no idea.
If it's a Netflix original,
I don't know. You're right.
Because it was a Netflix. The first one was a Netflix original. I assume they have exclusive streaming rights. That's normally what happens. Yeah. Have you ever read up on that? So like, whenever Netflix does a Netflix original and that's anime, what that means is it aired in Japan, and then they bought the exclusive rights to stream it worldwide. Meaning outside of Japan, only Netflix can stream it, which is mind-boggling. It's just crazy. They're the only people that can.
Nobody else has anime. So.
Yeah. It's nuts. But yeah. But Aniplex helped make it. So I guess if there's a DVD release, it would be from them. What were we saying? We were just talking about what's going on. Yeah. Right. So Hendrickson has been experimenting with demon blood, and apparently got possessed by that because This show does a really good job of explaining backstories and motivations, which I enjoy. And his was the only one that I was questioning at the end of it, because I was just like, you said you were born a druid and a nice guy, and then now you're here unleashing the demon race, and I'm like, why? You didn't explain at all. No backstories explained at all how you made that jump to wanting to do that. There was no explanation whatsoever.
I don't know if they go too deep into it either. Like at least so far in season 2. I mean, they might say season.
Like the only thing they really said was like at the end, in the last episode, the last 2 episodes, they ask him while he's in his demon form, they're like, "Why are you doing this?" And he's just like, "The demon race needs to come back." And someone's like, "What are you talking about?" And Meliodas is like, "Don't worry about it. It's not Hendrickson anymore. It hasn't been Hendrickson for a while. It's just a demon talking." So that's where I was like, okay, he's probably just been a demon for a long time at this point. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
It's nuts. But yeah, there's so many interesting things that happen that are just, like I said, there's a lot of stuff you don't notice happening going through the anime, and then they just sort of come to a head at the end of it, like freaking Gil Thunder. The first time I saw it, I thought maybe he had just been under a spell the whole time, but no, he was literally just pretending to be on the same side, and
that was cool.
He gave a code to Meliodas on I think 3 occasions throughout the thing, where he said a certain thing that Meliodas had taught him to say in a moment of need. That didn't sound like any kind of thing like that.
It was just a threat, I think, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I've become more powerful than any of the 7 deadly sins. And he says that 3 times in this show, and each time he was saying that to Meliodas to remind him that he's on the same side as Meliodas, but he can't act like it, because which is cool.
The love of his life is being trapped by
yes, that's true. Homegirl. And they both had demons following them, which Meliodas was able to see and destroyed because he's a boss. I like Meliodas a lot.
He is really good. Like they're all good characters.
Yeah,
right? I love
they're all really cool. Meliodas is very calm, and I think that even like obviously he's a sin of wrath, and so I think a lot of these people's sins are things that they've recognized about themselves that are difficult for them to deal with, and they've spent a good deal of their lifetime trying to overcome it. That's how I see in Meliodas. That's certainly what you see in King, because he realizes that it was his sloth that essentially caused the downfall of his entire kingdom and race. And I remember it in Bond somehow. Wasn't Bond some kind of like treasure hunter or something?
He was a bandit.
Yeah.
And he came to steal the Fountain of Youth goblet.
Correct.
Which caused the death of his loved one.
Elaine, who happens to also be the sister of King.
Yeah. So that's an interesting conflict.
Yes, it really is.
Bond is looking to resurrect Elaine.
Indeed.
From the Goddess clan.
Indeed. The Goddess is telling him that he should just kill Meliodas. And he's like, okay.
It's like, whatever, but...
yeah, that's nuts. So...
and then Meliodas is like, hey, stop. And he's like, okay.
He's like, all right, fine.
The confrontation between him and Meliodas are always weird. They're always weird.
He's like, just help me.
Just stop.
For a moment.
And Bond's like, fine.
So in the OVA, one of the few redeeming qualities of the OVA, which is the 4 episodes, they gave it a name, I forgot. It's some kind of Kingdom Festival thing. When it first came out on Netflix, they mislabeled it, I think, as season 2, and I was real excited, and it was totally not that when I was watching it. I was like, this is piss. What is this? And but it's just 4 episodes. I've only watched 2.5. But there's a point. Yeah, there's a point. So the Bond is essentially like, okay, now I can kill you, right? We can do this. And Meliodas is like, sure, if you think you can. And so they just fight, and they take them as part of like the festival. I don't know if Merlin comes in and summons it. I don't know, but like, so remember at the end of season 1, when Merlin's understudy had locked the king and Elizabeth into the tower, and it had like the perfect cube around it that like no one could enter or whatever. And Merlin just dispelled it immediately. She does that around, or someone does that around Meliodas and Bond, so they can just fight. And it's really cool. And they don't take anything of their weapons; they just fight hand to hand, and that's pretty fun to watch.
They do really good fight scenes.
Yes, literally nothing comes any closure. They just fight a lot, and then at the end of the day, they're just like, okay, that's it. But it was still fun to watch. That's it. Nothing much happens in the OVA. We get to see more Hawk though, in her tiny form, and we see Diane in her tiny form, I think.
Probably, because she's in her tiny form.
Right. Yes, that's what's going on right now. She's been taken down to normal person size.
This author has super fetish of micro and macro. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like there's so much size shifting in this anime. It's like, what is going on? And it's not. It happens like in season 2 too. Like there's different things that happen. It's ridiculous. Calm down, dude.
Oh yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna go on my list again and see what I've talked about. What do you like? What do you want to talk about? What have you not mentioned?
Well, aside from the thing I already said about like them breaking stereotypes of the usual anime, there's also a lot of really good humor in it. Like there's different random bits and like comments of things that people are doing that just are hilarious, and I laugh every time really hard. I audibly laugh. Like it's very rare for an anime to do that. Because sometimes it's just real cringe.
That's what freaking Devil's Part-Timer did for me.
Yeah, and it's just I crack up like with any comment. It's like it's gold.
Because they're very, very good character interactions too. Like I can believe that these 7 deadly sins have been friends for a while, that they've interacted for a while. I can believe that Meliodas really was someone that a lot of these knights looked up to when he was a part of the kingdom. Really cool. Do continue.
I mean, it's just good. Like the fighting's really good. Like there's no like.
It's so hard to explain, I think, but it's like it's a real, especially if you like good fighting shonen anime, and you don't want to. You just want to watch something that's really fun and good, and you don't want to commit yourself to something that's going to last until you die. One Piece. This is great.
A little more than halfway through, okay?
Whatever. I don't believe you.
No, I think it's got like maybe 6 years left.
Okay.
Maybe 4 to 6 years.
I'll be long dead.
Well, people are thinking it's going to go for 20 years. Because that's what, whenever, it's up to like 14 years right now. So.
Yeah, no, that's absurd.
It really is, honestly.
Yeah.
But Oda has said that like the Brave New World area was the halfway point, and that was like 10 years in. So, but see, like everything feels like it's starting to come to a close. Like there's some things that are wrapping up,
that's
like
good.
the poneglyphs. Oh, you don't know what that is.
Nope.
Like they're getting.
You can make up words.
Right. They're getting the main parts of where One Piece should be.
Cool.
And it's like they have like 3 of 4 of them right now, and it's like, what's going on?
That's cool.
So I don't read the manga. I don't know. I always have trouble with that still, but like I know it's like not that far behind, so I don't know how far.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's super far behind because there's like 3 seasons of filler.
Yeah.
So I imagine they keep catching up and stuff.
It comes out every week. There's no seasonal gap between things. It's, like, it's been going since 1990.
It must be nuts being on that production team.
Oh, Toei.
I wonder how many people
Toei treats their animators like crap. Like,
oh, do they?
Work them to the
that sounds suck.
Like, I know that for a fact. Like they work on Dragon Ball, which
true.
goes and on and on and on. One Piece. What's the other one?
And another super long one. Naruto.
They don't work on Naruto.
Bleach.
Do they do Bleach? They might do Bleach. I don't know. I have to check that because I know for a fact they do
Inuyasha.
One Piece and Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
They did Sailor Moon, the Sailor Moon reboot.
Crystal?
Yeah.
Is that still going?
They did Digimon.
Digimon Try?
Yeah, Try.
I own one of those films. I haven't watched it yet.
TV animation. 1960, Jesus. Let's see. There's a lot, but like none of these I really know very much. They do Doki Doki Precure, which is like no, they do all the Digimon. They did
from the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an investment.
Yeah, they do that, but I know they treat their animators like crap. And you know, Japanese people like work.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
Work hard. Yeah.
Yeah, they did all the Digimon.
Work is life. Life is work.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Oh, they did all the Sailor Moon ones too, not just the reboot.
Oh.
That's crazy. What?
I just forgot.
What are you doing, Toei?
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of other smaller ones, but those are pretty much the bigger ones. Like Sailor Moon, Digimon, One Piece, and Dragon Ball.
Oh, so.
But yeah, so
as we continue gushing about this anime, let's mark some like favorite moments. At least, what was your? What was like? What was the hardest? What was the most feelsy death for you?
Feelsy death. Which death? What are you talking about?
So many people die in this and then come back.
Yeah, but I mean, I figured that like once I knew that Elizabeth could heal people,
right.
I'm like,
So I mean, her sister dies.
Yeah, and that was kind of that.
Crazy.
I was like, nah, she cried. It's fine. I was like, she's totally healing.
But unless you say differently, Hellbrum has died 3 times now.
Who's up?
Hellbrum is Harlequin's King's best friend.
Oh yeah, that was pretty filthy.
Rough,
but
so rough. 3 times he died.
That's true.
Well, 3 times King kills him.
Yeah. I can't remember. Like, it's starting to blur now. Like the separation between season 1 and season 2. Does he put on the helmet?
Does King put on the helmet?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
He just has it.
Apparently, his friend imbued his soul into this
helmet.
Neat. So when he puts it on, he can see his friend.
Oh, so that's super cool. Yeah, he just says that the helmet was a gift. Whenever he kills him, chronologically the second time, but it's more or less the first real time we see him die in the anime. Because the first time he dies is in a flashback. King kills him 200 years ago. And then he kills him again when they storm the kingdom to rescue Elizabeth towards the end. And then he kills him a 3rd time after Hendrickson brings him back another time. Mm-hmm. That second time, so the first time he kills him in the kingdom, King talks about, oh, I knew it was you because I saw that helmet back when they were having some kind of tournament beforehand. And he's like, yeah, the helmet was for you. Whenever he kills him, Helmut's like, the helmet was for you. I got it for you from the human world. But yeah, I don't think he puts it on.
Yeah, he imbues the soul, so he
cool.
can conversate and stuff with him too.
Neato.
So I'm sure that'll come into play more.
That's fun. I'm sure I'll cry a lot.
Yeah. I wasn't too broken about Elaine's death. Like, it just seemed like, oh man,
that's right.
Mon, you're an idiot. Sorry.
Yeah, Mon's dumb.
It's like, oh, demons have more than one heart? Who would have thought that? You didn't, Bon. Good for you.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend died.
Yeah. What about when Hawk died? How'd you feel when Hawk died?
I had a feeling that they were gonna pull something. Like,
I felt that too. The first time I was watching, I was like, "How would you kill this character of all characters?"
Okay, so wait, what I thought was Elizabeth was gonna heal him, and I was like, "That's gonna happen, it's whatever." And it's like it didn't happen. I'm like,
right, especially because they give you that moment where she heals like everybody,
mm-hmm.
and then
there's
this. Well, Hawk's still down, but there's this brief moment where you also see all of the other people who had already died before she healed them, and then someone makes I think Margaret makes the comment. She's like, "Well, apparently, if they've already died, she can't bring them back to life, but she can heal people who are on the brink of death." Mm-hmm. And so again, they give us this another shot, and they're just like, "No, Hawk's gone. Sorry."
And I'm like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, I agree. I was like, this is so. Of all the characters to kill, you think you would keep this one? Because
and that's what I was mentioning before about Hawk provides something for the plot. And it's like, even if he was just a shield, at one point, like that's still adding to the plot. And it's like you're connected to this pig.
Oh man,
this talking pig,
which
everybody mentions.
Yeah,
it's like this.
He could talk. No one worries about the 30-story tall mother of this pig.
Yeah, right. Like, whatever. She's got a bar on her back.
Yep.
But but it wasn't that long until like tiny Hawk popped out.
Right. Yes.
Like, that's a cop out. It's a phoenix pig.
Yep. What was your favorite fight?
Probably the final one, like between Hendrix and our demon Hendrix and the
right.
main character.
I really there's a short moment that they use as part of an intro for the final one where you see all 5 of the 7 deadly sins that are assembled at this moment all going at him at once and like individually hitting him. That was really cool.
Yeah, because really Merlin and what's his face isn't there yet.
Yeah. It's really funny because they always refer to them as the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah,
because that's their title. It's like, you 7 deadly sins, and there's 6 of them. There's 3 of them at this point. What do you? It's real fun.
And they have not mentioned the 7th one at all.
Like, and honestly, they don't really Meliodas doesn't really mention people at all.
Yeah.
Like they just kind of acquire them as they go, as if he's like kind of knows where they are.
Yeah.
Because Merlin was there in the city with him for a while before she revealed herself, and you feel like Meliodas just knew that, and he was just like, oh yeah. She'll hop out eventually when she needs to.
But yeah, like in the second season, like I think there's a single flash of what's his name?
Escanor.
Okay, jeez, I can't think of his name. But like I don't think they've really said anything about him still, like in the 4 episodes. But this new antagonist is a group called the 10 Commandments, and that's what the second season is called, the 7 Deadly Sins, Attack of the 10 Commandments or something like that. I don't know.
Fun job.
But basically, it's like these super powerful demon guys and Dark Meliodas. So that's gonna be fun. They're probably brothers or something.
Job. Yeah, probably so.
Because they look alike. One just has black hair and black eyes.
Neat. Probably 2 halves of the same whole.
Maybe. But maybe actually that's probably more probable.
That's likely what allows them to exist, right? Because the demons have been sealed away. So technically, if Meliodas is full demon, he wouldn't be there. So
true.
Yeah.
So they're either brothers or 2 halves of the same whole, which is interesting. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what fights I enjoy.
I like. I really like watching. I liked watching Arthur fight Hendrickson for a bit. That was really cool to see.
Yeah, it was a good fight.
I mean, eventually, when Meliodas steps in, it's always going to be cool.
Yeah. Wow. You're having trouble. Here comes Meliodas.
Yeah.
You just put him through a wall.
Yeah. Well, I also like Bond. Bond can do that too. Bond can just step in. Something like he steps in and just, like when Hendrickson is talking about, before he goes full demon, he's talking about all the red demon power, red demon blood he has, and Bond's like, oh, well, I already killed him, so I guess I'm going to kill you too, and just puts him through the floor. That was a good time. That was real cool. Bond's so swag.
I didn't like him at first.
Right, agreed.
Because I usually don't like the egotistical little jerky characters until they have like their redemption arc.
Yep.
At that point, they're like, "Oh, okay, he's tolerable now."
Yeah.
But Bond had that pretty early, so
yeah, he did.
Thankfully, like with the whole like defending Elaine and stuff.
Right.
It's like, oh, he's an okay guy, I guess. It's whatever.
Yeah. Super cool. I don't know, any other cool moments?
The entire King versus his friend.
Helbram.
Yeah, Helbram.
Yeah.
It was a good fight. It was very emotional.
Yeah, it's super emotional. There's a flashback in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I like seeing all of the different. We mentioned before that it's got like One Piece vibes. I'd say it's got, in a way, it's got My Hero vibes with just all the different abilities that all the knights have. They range pretty widely. They all usually equate to like 1 or 2 interesting things that they can do with some type of strange element thing. So like Gil Thunder just throws lightning everywhere.
What?
Hauser. Hauser is the tornado guy.
Yeah, and we did mention that each sin actually has their own special attack. Like
right. That's true. We didn't even fully mention that because like Homeboys, Meliodas is the full counter. Full counter, and which it can deflect. It's not useful for physical attacks, but it can deflect any magic back, which is really cool and useful. Also, he goes when he does go demon. I think we mentioned before, he doesn't really seem to have any awareness of what's going on, and just kind of goes ham. Yeah. The only person he really fights in like super demon form is Helbram, I think, which is in like mid-season. Helbram just kind of coaxes the demon out of him and then fights him, which is nuts. Yeah, and then so that's what he has. Bond. What is Bond's power? He's just kind of immortal, right? What's his special attack?
don't know.
He just kind of puts people through walls. Like, he's just ridiculously strong.
Let's see. Because the wiki has, like, their abilities.
Oh,
like,
good. That's good. Diane is a giant, and she has control over Earth. Yeah. She's like an earthbender. Ground Gladius, ground meteor.
Kind of spoilery because I don't know what they actually.
Let's see. Gother. Yeah. So he can touch people's heads, and he can lock them into like this endless nightmare kind of thing where they're.
So Meliodas is his full counter, of course. King's is disaster, which is.
Oh.
It's power share, blah blah blah. It gives them complete control over life and death, granting them the authority to rule over the forest as the Fairy King. So I guess that's immortality?
Maybe. That probably hasn't happened yet.
No, actually.
Yeah, it's probably manga info.
Yeah, probably. That's why I'm like, oh, this is spoiler.
Yeah.
Bon is Snatch.
Oh, right.
He does use that.
He can take power, right?
Yes, he can drain power from
those
attacking.
I forgot about that. That's really cool. Meliodas also has his revenge counter, which is what he uses to defeat Hendrickson.
Yeah. Because he gets beat up a lot and it just like unleashes everything.
Shuts off his magical energy, and then everything he takes, every attack he gets hit with, he can then, once he activates it, he can then release all that on his opponent at the same time. Which is cool.
Yeah. King's is... Oh, wait, no, I said that one right. I just went down the list and I was like, oh, wait, I did that right. Diane's is Creation. Let's see what that does. Should have actually had this prepared, but
that's alright.
Never are.
Spitballing's fine.
Oh, wait, that's the gigantic, like... Earth tentacles that come up around her.
Gotcha.
I mean, I guess that's just manipulate Earth. I guess that's her
power. It's her shtick. She also has a very big hammer. She's one of the first ones that gets her sacred treasure back.
Yeah, because they had sold it on the market or something.
Yeah.
They pawned it off.
And Bon, I guess, gets his? What's his little 3-piece thing? He's got this 3-piece staff. Is that not his sacred treasure?
I don't know.
Maybe it's not.
Merlin's power is Infinity. It's a unique and incredibly powerful ability that allows her to keep her spells active until she herself chooses to dispel them. That's broken.
It's pretty cool.
No matter how powerful a spell, Merlin only needs to cast it once for her power to take effect. That's broken.
Yeah, that's pretty boss.
It's like, oh, you can't dispel anything that I cast. Good luck.
Good luck. That reminds me of Gother when he's explaining revenge counter to Hendrickson. And he's like, I'm pretty sure you'll have about a 0.2% chance of living should you get hit by this. And he's like, good luck.
And yeah, Gother's invasion, which allows them to manipulate memories. And Escanor's in Sunshine, but I don't know anything about that yet, so I'm not gonna.
It's fine. Yeah, don't worry about it.
We do get to see Meliodas' sacred treasure like immediately in season 2.
Oh, season 2.
He's got like an army knife or something, and it allows him to make clones of himself.
Nuts. Going full Naruto.
Right. That's why I was like, oh god, he's turning into Naruto. But he can basically provide an even stronger counter because of the clones. And but the thing is, his clones have half of his power if it's 1, and it like halves that power each time he splits. So like he has up to 4, and it's like 420 for each one.
Gotcha.
Bond's sacred treasure, the Holy Rod Korishhaus, is a 4-segmented staff similar to in appearance to a nunchuck. It was stolen during his imprisonment.
Yeah, I guess that's what he shows up with at the end.
Weird names. Our hammer Gideon for Diane.
Yes.
King's is Chastiful. Chastiful. The Spirit Spear. Gother's is a twin bow called Herit,
Sweet.
which is made of light. Merlin's is the morning star Alden, which is a small crystal orb.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to read
It's fine.
Escanars because I don't know anything about them. We don't know anything about them.
Yeah. But it's a fun anime. It's a really good time. I think it's a very nice shonen. Yeah. It's just, it feels so refreshing. It feels so nice to watch.
It's a good surprise.
Yeah.
If you're not expecting it.
I agree.
Because I wasn't really expecting it either.
Yes.
And I actually told you this before, but I had a fun time looking for it on the internet because there's another anime by the same name. Oh. And it's actually hentai.
You did tell me that. That's a good time.
So I was watching, I started watching the first episode, and the beginning was of the hentai. It was completely normal. It was Lucifer got thrown from heaven, landed on Earth, and then landed back into hell or something like that.
Fun.
And then
like you do.
Yeah, and they were talking about deadly sins and stuff. It's there's layers of hell, and each layer is guarded by a deadly sin. And I was like, okay, whatever. And it didn't even cross my mind that it was a different looking than the other. Yes. So I'm just watching, and stuff starts to happen.
Stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. Just the first thing it started once we get into hell, it's Lucifer is a woman and she's naked. There are spinning graphs or something covering there's censorship.
Right.
And I'm like,
you made a face.
Yeah, I was really weirded out. I watch with my significant other. I watch him and I stream it for him, and we watch together and stuff. But I was like, this is really weird. This isn't why would this get such a high score on
That's right. You're telling me this.
On anime because I get my rankings from anime. What's it called? My anime list. That's what it is. Gotcha. And it was it's 8.1 on my anime list, and it was there's no way. So at through the middle of the anime, one of the deadly sin that Lucifer was fighting or being tortured by or something started fondling her breasts and licking them and stuff, and I'm like, okay, we're done. I don't know why this is rated so high on my anime list, but I'm done.
Yeah, that's funny.
So I was like, there's no way. It baffled me.
How quickly did you try to go back to it?
I mean, I stopped it, and it was maybe an hour. I was thinking, I was just appalled. I was like, there's no way. Right. Maybe 30 minutes. I was like, so I started looking again. And I was like, none of the characters on this poster, from the intro of the anime, was in this anime. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? So I'm looking through my anime website that I watch anime from, and it's there's a hentai anime of the same name. It's just prefaced with sin. The 7 deadly sins.
Gotcha.
And that's the hentai one.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, okay. And what's weird is that this was semantics. On the main website that I looked through, and I didn't think they did that sort of thing. So
you thought you were safe.
Yeah, it just baffled me. I was like, no, there's no way. So I went on to my other one, and I was like, oh, there it is.
Yes.
Okay, this is much better. So it's it was a refreshing difference, because I was like, there's no way. And I went back on my anime list, and it's on there. It's just at 5.5 or something. Gotcha. I was like, that makes more sense.
There you go.
That was quite the surprise, needless to say.
Oh man.
And I think that put me in the same situation as you. It was my expectations were plummeted.
Yeah.
It's there's no way. And then I watched that, and I was like, okay. Yeah. I'm satisfied.
Yeah. It's a good.
It was so bad. Yeah, it's
That's good.
So yeah, there's a hentai called 7 Deadly Sins. Don't go looking for it.
Nope.
Because it's bad. It's not. I mean, even I'm not gonna get into hentai or anything. It was just weird. Like it was so weird.
No.
And so like probably blasphemous. Like, it was
No.
like,
Sure.
Good
anyways,
times.
yeah, I'd say
be careful with what the anime you watch.
Yeah, that's true. If you have Netflix, this is the good 7 Deadly Sins is on Netflix, and you can watch it there. Although you can't watch the newest season because it's airing in Japan at the moment, so you can watch that on whatever thing you usually use to torrent stuff.
Yeah, or don't do that because it's bad.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Eddie.
Support the anime. Buy the anime DVDs.
But yeah, I'm certain like every other Netflix original anime, it will get to Netflix as soon as it is done airing in Japan.
Do you torrent stuff, Ethan? I'm just kidding.
No. And then
but it's on its 4th episode, and I think there's going to be 24.
Cool.
Of this one.
That would make sense. I would hope so because it's good, and I want more of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely recommend it. It's really fun. It's a good show, and again, it is a fighting anime. I think part of the charm of it is that like it's a fighting anime, and there's plenty of fighting in it, but there's so much other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That
lots of development.
and humor. It just makes it good. Makes it so good. It's a wonderful treat. Definitely go watch it.
And it's all mixed in. It's like it's not like here's one thing, there's another thing,
right.
like Dragon Ball does.
Yeah, that's true.
It's actually mixed in with like the fighting and the humor.
It's well paced.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well paced, well mixed. It's good. A lot of good. Anyways, we've been Those Nerds You Know. You can find us on Twitter. We are at TNYKPod. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube. You can find the pod on iTunes and Google Play and various other places that you can get get podcasts. Podbean, Castbox, Stitcher, things like that. But we also have an email, thosenerdsyouknowpod@gmail.com. Drop us a line. Let us know if you've seen 7 Deadly Sins, what you liked about it. If you're going to watch season 2, if you're watching it now somehow, and or if you read the manga, let us know if the manga is good because I haven't read any of the manga at all. And yeah, let us know what other shonens you like. Or if there's anything you'd like us to talk about or review.
Talk to us. We're lonely.
Yeah, do that. That's good. Next week we will likely have an older episode come out. One that I recorded with David before he left. I'm in the process of moving, so once that is done, we'll be back on our regular schedule, hopefully.
Maybe.
But yeah, that's it. I'm Ethan.
I'm Eddie.
And we are Those Nerds You Know. Bye!